Speaking of M&A, Broadcom's back on the acquisition trail. The chipmaker agrees to buy business software provider CA Technologies, $18.9 billion in cash, $44.50 a share, 20% premium to the closing price yesterday. Comes after months after Broadcom's bid for Qualcomm was blocked by the White House. We talked off camera this morning about CA's long history.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at CA's. Their free cash margins and their free cash flow. Why do I do this? Because that's what Hock Tan looks at, the excellent CEO of Broadcom, who is being given not only no benefit of the doubt whatsoever about buying this company. They moved to New York, but it was a Long Island-based company.
Jim, you know this. I mean, this morning, the analysts, it's rare that I see this kind of backlash.
They turned on him.
I mean,
they turned on him.
Wondering what the new strategy is. Here's a quick rundown. I mean, what the Hock, Evercore ISI asks. Out of left field is an understatement, says Raymond James. I think we have some of this.
Did you get this?
Even
the Bernstein guy?
Get a phone call, says Sanford Bernstein.
And that Bernstein's pro.
And that Bernstein ends up not being necessarily that negative.
That's the one I'm hanging my hat on.
Our evening was mostly filled with confused and angry calls and emails as the company effectively just walked anyone who bought the stock over the last few months on the back of small M&A and buybacks right off the cliff.
Scary. I never do two double underlines. That's what I was going to read. You completely stole. Did you see the thing?
No, I didn't.
You looked, didn't you? You cheated.
I underlined it myself.
You did.
Well, you were talking about NATO. I was underlining it.
So when I was getting made up, it was right there. I figured you just looked at it.
But Jim, what about all that? What about this idea that there's a change in direction here? That this is a company that has to do these kinds of deals to maintain at least that they will cut costs dramatically, raise prices in the mainframe business, which is the key part here, and it's very sticky.
3-year contracts.
And then if
mainframe
you're a
business.
You're sort of like, okay.
David, I've got to tell you, I am not defending the acquisition. I will tell you. That at the same time that I'm not defending it, I recognize that Hock Tan needed to have not episodic cell phone, but continual but slow growth mainframe.
Look what that stock's doing.
Well, the stock is saying that it was not a great deal. The wrong shareholder.
That is not what you
Actually, I've never really seen that kind of. Have you ever seen that kind of?
No, that is a significant.
That's people leaving the stadium in the first inning.
And of course, the company that pursued Qualcomm for months, as we well know, finally having to give up once CFIUS said this is not something you will ever be able to do. Now a U.S.-based company. We should make that clear.
Right.
This deal, by the way, can get
through. There's no MOFCOM. That's what people are telling. No MOFCOM.
Guys, is designed to move pretty quickly. They don't even need China approval. So it's designed for a fairly quick close. But, you know, the enterprise side still asking some questions. Will they raise prices? What will they do to CA? And, you know, you could argue, Jim, that they're going to have to take out as much as, well, I don't know, $1.8 billion costs.
They can do it. There are a lot of costs. They did over 65 acquisitions in the last couple years, last couple decades. I suggest that Hock Tan, who watches the show closely, come here tomorrow and just talk us through. Because Hock Tan deserves a lot of benefit of the doubt. He's getting none. Yes, he does know how to cut costs. He knows how to raise free cash flow margin. He knows how to raise free cash flow. He can do this. This is not necessarily the disaster the stock is saying, but Hock needs to talk us through. Hock does watch the show. He needs to talk us through.
Mr. Tan, we talked about the roll-up strategy, and here's what he had to say in terms of criticism of that.
Not at all true from our side. What we do is we acquire businesses, product lines that are in proven markets, leads in technology, which we build up on and sustain. We're building up a company that is sustainable for the next 10 years. That's what all our franchises are. And today,
so regardless of whether you acquire Qualcomm or not, you're comfortable with your strategy.
Yes.
And that you don't need to do another very large transaction.
We are doing Qualcomm because there's an asset to be acquired. But if we don't do it, we'll continue on our current strategy of continuing to acquire assets in the semiconductor industry and build on those.
And that's
well, there you go.
They're not.
They're not. That strategy's gone. Now they're talking about an entirely new strategy.
I know,
Jim.
but you know what? I am going to give him some benefit. He's built a company that has huge free cash flow by buying companies that have bad free cash flow and bad expense structures. Okay. But yes, it was a company, the acquisition was not what we thought. I've got a half dozen short list semiconductor companies I thought he'd buy. I got a half dozen. And they're not being bought. Instead, instead of a hardware, we got a software company with what I will tell you has some of the slowest growth around. And by the way, if you look at the free cash flow, I mean, it's extraordinary how it's not going. It's like this almost the same for the last 5 years. That is not what Hock does. He brings out the profits.
Well, it is a significant change in strategy, and I
Very
think
much
shareholders
so.
are surprised
Very
by
much
it because
so.
it was not communicated previously.
Not at
Do
all.
want to obviously also share more of their thoughts. I hope Hock maybe would consider joining us. Tom Krause, the CFO, certainly also, and haven't been able to get in touch with him yet and want to present their side. I don't think they had a call. And by the way, they don't need a shareholder vote. Obviously, it's a cash deal, just to make sure people understand that. So
No, I'm all over it.
it's happening.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.